Mhm.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Pause and Pals video with the gang. Nick, Mike, Rob, you know who we are. Pause and Pals, of course. So, we're back with the divisional round of the playoffs. So, I guess we can just get right into it. I mean, I'm just gonna start off with this that I have no idea like who I'm leaning towards really. I'm just gonna go with my gut. So let's start with the first game: Rams at Packers at Lambeau Field. All right, what are we thinking here?
Mm. Mm.
I'll start it off.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start it off. I think this is a pretty juicy matchup just from the perspective that it's the number one scoring offense against the number one scoring defense. Really, where I think that this game is going to be decided is going to be on the Packers defense because I think that they've been very underrated. I think they have one of the better and more underrated secondaries in the league. Jair Alexander, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage. I think they're very solid. I think the emergence of Rashawn Gary the past few weeks up front at a defensive end position has been huge in helping them in the run game. Rashawn Gary in his last 5 games has totaled 19 tackles. That's been huge for this team. No rusher has reached 100 yards against them in a single game. That includes Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery in those past 5 games. Also, when you think about the fact too that Jared Goff here is playing hurt, he's got that injured thumb. Cold weather, Lambeau Field, I think it's going to be really key for the Rams to run the ball, and I just don't think they're going to be able to do it against this Packers defense. And while I realize the Rams defense is also very good, one of the best in the league, if not the best, I think that the Packers defense is going to step up, and the Packers are going to win this game off the back of their defense just as much as their offense.
I'll second that. That was pretty good. I don't really see any really options here if the Rams really taking this game. I mean, like Nick said, the injury to Jared Goff is kind of a big problem for them. And then I don't know how Cam Akers can single-handedly carry the Rams offense on his back against like it's a really talented Green Bay offense. And obviously they can't run the ball every down. So I could definitely see Green Bay kind of running away with this game a little bit. It's one of those games where you could play your number one offense versus number one defense, but I could see this game being like a little ugly for the Rams. I don't know if that's like a hot take or not, but I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Rams just can't get anything going on offense, and Green Bay just every drive they're getting points on the board, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. I just think that Green Bay's offense is kind of unstoppable, but that's to be decided.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the side of the Packers as well. They just are 100% going to win this game. I trusted
Wow.
I trusted the Rams defense last week, but even Darnold was shooken up walking off the field. Obviously, Goff's hurt. And then you just go to the Packers offense. They have Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. They're gonna run all over them. They're gonna deep passes. I know you got Jalen Ramsey gonna shut down Devontae, but
Yo,
it's
Jalen Ramsey
gonna be a matchup.
right now.
I
You're
can't.
like, nah, you're sleeping on us.
I can't see the Packers losing this. I can't.
Honestly, I could see this play it. I could see the Rams winning this realistically, because what's the old saying that defenses win championships? Isn't that? I think that's a saying. I forget who said that, but it, it's tough because I mean, like you brought up, Rob. Jalen Ramsey matched up with Devonte Adams, and obviously Devonte Adams will be moved around the formation and stuff, so maybe he won't travel with him in the slot necessarily. But even when Devonte Adams is shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, the other players are going to have to step up. And
The only place where I'm hesitant, I'm hesitant. I've
really
seen.
good. I don't think it'll be a blowout, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, not either.
Than people think.
Well, I don't know. I sorry to cut you off, Rob and Ricardo, but you got to also remember too, the Rams were played in Los Angeles last week. They're a warm weather team, and they're going to head to Green Bay, where it's likely going to be in the 20s. So you got to factor that in as well. If they're not used to playing in the freezing cold. So I mean, if that has any factor in it, but I don't know. I think that's something to think about as well.
No, they
Ricardo,
played
I want to let you make your pick here. But I mean, if you're not going to jump in on this, the disrespect that Rob and Mike are throwing at this Rams defense right
That's what
now.
I'm saying.
I came in here picking the Packers,
Hey,
and these
I'm
guys
the
are
only
saying
one who
it's
picked
going to
them
be a
last
blowout.
week.
There's no way that you can slow down the Packers offense. That's just not true. This is going to be a low-scoring game. I get that Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. They've got plenty of weapons on offense. We're talking about the number one scoring defense in the NFL. They literally don't have a weakness on that side of the ball. I get Aaron Donald was hurt, but still, they have so many pieces up front. Leonard Floyd, Michael Brockers. I mean, I don't know how you're throwing this much disrespect their way. It's going to still be a close game.
I mean,
but you still think the Packers are going to come out on top.
Exactly, but I mean,
exactly.
I picked the Packers up front because I also have faith in their defense. I think their defense is highly overrated.
I do too.
I think that I think that's going to be one of the driving forces why they win this game. And I said from the start, I picked the Packers to win. But to throw shade at the Rams defense like this, they're the best defense in the NFL this year. To think that they can't win this game or it's going to be a blowout, I think is a bit ridiculous.
I never said it was going to be a blowout. I think that
I said that. I said that.
Yeah,
okay.
A little bit.
I picked the Rams defense last week. I was the only one out of 4 of you who believed in them last week. All right. So I'm not throwing any shade. I just think that against this offense, they're going to be a good defense still. They're going to stop long throws, long runs, but Aaron Rodgers is going to figure it out. But at the same time, I've seen Aaron Rodgers choke in the playoffs a lot. So, who knows what's going to happen.
Ricardo, what's your pick for the game?
I'll say Packers, but here's an interesting stat I just remembered from Good Morning Football. I think it was something about how Aaron Rodgers, like when going up against like all pro corners, Aaron Rodgers is 1-5, like throwing to his receivers. So like that's I don't know, that kind of has some influence to the way I'm thinking.
Y'all are sleeping on my boy Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's going to take over the game.
You can't take over the game. You can't sleep on Darius Williams either, but still. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go Packers in a close game, I'd say. So after all that, let's move on to the Ravens and Bills. Again, I don't know. I think this is probably the juiciest matchup this weekend.
For sure.
Lamar Jackson won his first playoff game, so shut up all the haters and stuff like that. Again, this one it's just up in the air. I want to hear your arguments first. So.
Yeah, I got the Bills on this one. After watching them last week, I know it was a little shaky towards the end against the Colts, but Josh Allen still figured out a way to score points, put points on the board. I mean, Colts should have won that game. Bills probably shouldn't be here, but at the same time, the Bills deserve to be here, and I think they're going to show that to the Ravens come game day.
Bills are my Super Bowl pick, so obviously I'm picking the Bills, or not to win, but to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, you have an offense that is kind of. I mean, it is dependent on how Josh Allen plays, but the way Josh Allen's been playing all season, I don't see how the Bills' offense slows down. So it honestly only comes down to the defense of the Bills, and containing Lamar Jackson was something that happened obviously in the playoff games before. It obviously didn't happen for the Titans in the last game, but I think the Bills figure out a way to have a QB spy, try to contain him. If they contain him, I mean, they pretty much win. I think that's kind of the thing that the Titans failed to do. They let Lamar Jackson run too much with that 50-yard touchdown he scored. So I think if the Bills have a good game plan on defense and they go for it, like the offense I'm not worried about. If they go for it and they really want to win, they will contain Lamar Jackson and I think beat the Ravens.
I mean, is Ray Lewis coming out of retirement and playing for the Bills? I mean, do QB spies work on Lamar Jackson? But I mean, I still have the Bills. I still have the Bills winning this game. My reasoning, the Bills just won their first playoff game in 25 years. Josh Allen, it was his first win as a quarterback as well in the playoffs. So, I mean, it makes sense that way they would struggle with a team like the Colts, who are a very well-rounded, very good defensive team. Now, with that off their shoulders, just like Lamar Jackson has the monkey off of his shoulders, I think that both these quarterbacks are going to play a little more free. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup between two defenses that are a little bit underrated. I know that the Ravens are a really good defense, but I think even they're a little underrated. It's a great passing attack in Buffalo against a great running attack in Baltimore. Really, I think this game is a major toss-up in my mind. I think that explains why the line on Yahoo Sports is 2.5. It's just really close, hard to pick. And when you ask the Steelers fan in a toss-up if they're picking the Ravens, it's not happening. I got the Bills.
Respect.
I guess I'll make it 4 for 4 then. I will also pick the Bills, but like I said before, this is, I mean, like you alluded to, Nick, it's a toss-up, but I mean, I could see the Ravens winning this if, they run the ball efficiently, which is the Bills' weakness. I mean, they gave up, 160 plus rushing yards to the Colts last week. So if they can't stop Lamar Jackson, then they're going to run away with it. I mean, that's simple. And also, I don't know how I feel about Josh Allen in a track meet, trying to catch up. But
I just find it interesting too, because we talk about the fact that maybe the Colts, I think Mikey brought up, the Colts maybe deserved to win the game last week. I mean, I expected the Ravens to run away with that game against one of the worst Tennessee front sevens that we've seen in the past 5 to 10 years, and yet it was only a one touchdown game. I mean, the Ravens offense is going to have to play better than that against a better Bills defense. So, sure. I mean, that's also something that I see going in the Bills' favor.
Good point there.
They can't allow Marquise Brown to have any deep routes and long receptions. That's just going to tear him down.
Right on him, he'll be fine. He's up in the corner.
Yeah.
See, Browns at Chiefs. I think this is probably the easiest pick out of all of them.
We know who Nick's picking.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that, Nick.
in this game, the Titans established the formula for beating the Chiefs last year. I mean, the Titans didn't do it, and you guys will allude to it. You got to run the ball. The other thing that the Browns have going for them, the Chiefs haven't played a competitive game or played their best football in 3-4 weeks now. Last week they had a bye. The week before that they were resting Patrick Mahomes and many of their other starters. The week before that they almost lost to the Atlanta Falcons on a last-second missed field goal by Young Hoku. So we're going back 4 weeks now to when they played good football. I think that's going to be a little bit of a factor in the Chiefs not playing well. I'm still going to be picking the Browns. I think that the Browns' cornerback position is going to get exploited. Their defense was 17th in yards per game and 22nd in pass yards per game. So I think that containing Tyreek Hill and containing Travis Kelce is going to be a big challenge for the Browns secondary. Denzel Ward, supposedly COVID hit him pretty hard, and when he was out with it. Who knows if he's going to be 100% back now. So I think that the Chiefs, even coming off this extended period of rest, maybe, I think they're still going to get the win over the Browns.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As long as you do not let the Browns get off to a hot start, then
not like last week the Steelers blew it. Sorry, Nick, again. Sorry.
No, but
in the first quarter, I'm sorry, I had to bring it up.
if they can hold the Browns to one or less touchdowns in the first quarter, I can't see the Chiefs not winning this game. The speed and just overall talent they have on their offense, plus a pretty underrated defense that can still get stops, get interceptions. I have Chiefs in this one.
So I always try to play devil's advocate a little bit. So what we saw, I mean, not against the Steelers. I mean, it was kind of a blowout in the beginning. But I mean, you see the Browns offense on the ground. I mean, they do run the ball very efficiently. And I think the way you beat a team like the Chiefs is you don't give them the ball. You don't give Patrick Mahomes all this time. You don't go 3 and out. You have to have, a 5, 6, 7 minute drive, whether that be capped off with points or not. I mean, you kind of have to, but I mean, if you can figure out a way to have an efficient drive of 7, 8, 9 minutes, a quarter, you could technically hold the Chiefs to like 5 or 6 total drives the entire game. And
we saw the Titans do that last year. That's definitely the formula that the Browns need to take.
You just have to stop them on 1 or 2 or 3 of those drives, and you're looking at like a 1-possession game heading into the fourth quarter. I think the Browns might be able to do it, but I don't know. The Chiefs offense.
I don't think the Browns are going to be able to stop them. The only thing they have going for them is if the Chiefs get off to a slow start because they've been overrested.
Yeah. literally, that's exactly what I was about to say. I think the Chiefs are going to get off to a hot start, and they're going to be unstoppable. So, and then the Browns are going to have to catch up and put the game in Baker Mayfield's hand, which is not the formula they want to win. And because of that, I'll also pick the Chiefs. So,
Wow, we're all in agreement so far.
yeah, that's surprising, honestly.
Yeah.
A little surprised.
This last one, I feel like we're gonna have some different
yeah,
opinions.
we'll see. We'll see. Okay, Bucks at Saints. Final game of the weekend.
I kind of want to hear what Rob has to say first because I want to hear his opinion about Tom Brady's Bucks. I just got to hear it.
Oh, what are they saying about this? It's been deemed the final battle. Is that what they're calling it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I've just learned you can never doubt Tom Brady. I don't care what team he's on. I have to go Bucks. His offense, his weapons, Leonard Fournette, they've all been playing great. Last week they won by at least a score, which is good for them. And their defense is okay. It's not amazing, but Drew Brees, he can't throw over like 20 yards. So as long as they're able to keep the safeties down and disrupt the slant game, I think that the Bucks have this. But you do have to think about Kamara. Kamara is going to be the biggest problem for the Bucks, is stopping him. But if they're able to neutralize Kamara's efficiency, then 100%.
I knew he was going to take the Bucks. I knew it. I had a feeling, and I knew it. But yeah. So I don't know. I think this is definitely one of those games that you look at on paper and you're like, all right, so you got the greatest quarterback of all time and the greatest like stat guy of all time. I mean, Drew Brees leads in almost every category across like multiple records and stuff in the NFL. So you pretty much, do you take winning or do you take stats? And honestly, I understand there's multiple factors that go into it, and which is why I'm gonna actually agree with Rob and take the Bucks, because I do like the Saints defense, and I will not I won't trash them like they did the Rams, but I think the way Marshawn Lattimore plays against the number one receiver is obviously fantastic. But the way the Bucks offense is set up, they have like 3 number one receivers that would be number ones on any other team. So I think that the Bucks, if they could figure out a way to get it to the guy who's not either A, not being covered by Marshawn Lattimore, or B, who is but just gets open, I think that their offense is kind of, I mean, it is kind of pass centric because their run offense is fantastic, but there definitely is a way that the Bucks could win, and I think that's why I'm going to take the Bucks. I think the Bucks have Tom Brady, they have all these weapons on offense, their defense is formidable, and the Saints offense, I mean, you just got to hope that the Bucks defense can have answers against, Saints offense. But I'm going to take the Bucks along with Rob.
Rod, are you going first or am I?
Rick, I think you have something to say, so say it because you should.
Well, this is funny because I was actually going to take the Bucks as well, and I thought I was going to be playing devil's advocate here. My reasons were none of the same reasons that Rob and Mike had, but I will go the other way, and I will flip my reasons the other way. I'm going to take the Saints here. Basically, the reason that I
do that because your bracket's done.
The only reason that I see this happening, the reason I had the Saints going anyway. I was going to take the Bucks here. I'm not going to take the Bucks. The reason I'm going to take the Saints here is that this game is going to be decided at the line of scrimmage. The Bucks have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. The Saints have one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. On that side of the ball, it is going to be on Alvin Kamara's shoulders to carry the load here. The Saints cannot come out and play lackadaisical like they did last week against the Bears. It's going to have to be different. Alvin Kamara is going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to give Latavius Murray more touches. Drew Brees has to continue to not make mistakes. All that's going to be key. You flip around to the other side, and when the Bucks are on offense, it's going to be get pressure on Tom Brady, Cam Jordan, Trey Hendrickson, the rest of that Saints front seven need to apply pressure. When the Saints blew out the Bucks in week 9, I think it was the last time they played. Yeah. The Saints got pressure on Tom Brady. The offensive line could not hold up. This needs to be the same formula where you get in the face of Tom Brady and don't let him get the ball out to his weapons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are very one-dimensional. They don't run the ball that much. I believe they were 28th in rush yards per game. If you know that Tom Brady's passing the ball and you can infiltrate the pocket, make him feel uncomfortable. That's the way that you win the formula, and just rely on Alvin Kamara to run the ball. That is what I think is going to be the key to the Saints winning this game.
Wow. Well, I agree with all those points. And I mean, like you said, like the Saints beat the Bucks, not once, but twice during the regular season. Have we forgotten that like,
hey, but that doesn't matter now.
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
here's the thing. The Saints did beat them twice, but Tom Brady's never lost to a team 3 times in his career.
Yeah, well, let's make it a first right here.
Let's make it a first. And then the other thing to counter that is the fact that he played both those teams in the first half of the year. He played the Saints both times the first half of the year. It's been a long time since that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could, yeah. I mean, that Bucks offense was rough in the beginning, but once it started clicking towards the end of the season, you really saw Antonio Brown come out as like, a very good target receiver. You saw, all these, like Mike Evans, he played, pretty good last week. I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints still. I mean, yeah, you all make great points, but still, I think this. I mean, let's also think about the last 3 years the Saints have been in the playoffs. Just heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. I mean, at some point, it's you got to win, right?
You got to break through, and what better year for that than probably Drew Brees' last year? Let him ride off into the sunset.
Exactly. It's just like Peyton Manning did in 2015 when they won the Super Bowl against the Panthers. But I mean, I don't think they win anyway. That's a separate story. Yeah, I'm going Saints. So we're split on that one. Finally, some debate there. So I guess we'll end it there and check out all the links in the description, stuff like that. We'll definitely be back next week for the championship round. So this weekend's gonna be very interesting. I'm very excited. And with that, I guess we'll see you all next week.
Later.
Peace.